Doom, 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 doom. Hopefully, right here is where you guys will be seeing or hearing. You'll be seeing me do all this shit, but there will be like a jingle playing or something like that as I get this ready. Um, da, 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 da. My name is Mauricio Rivera, and this is my dumbass opinion about everything. Hello, people in video land. Hello, people in streaming land. I guess videos do stream. So, audio, whatever the fuck, dude. Let me explain to the video people because they're looking at me what's going on right now. I'm recording for strictly sound too over here. So, this mic goes to that. Then this mic comes to the video. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This is set up strange. I realize that. But we're going to get it right. You know, this is our first video episode. This is our 8th overall episode. So just give me a chance to get my feet up under me, and we'll get this right. People in audio land know that my kids are going to be running around screaming in the background. They don't give a shit about what we're doing here. They don't give a shit about anything that I do. They don't care about my space. So that's that. Let's try to overcome that. Um, what else? Let me explain to you why this is called my dumbass opinion about everything. It's a very fucking literal title. This is just my dumbass opinion. Just my dumbass opinion about everything. You know what I mean? We're going to be talking about everything from selective morality to the topic of the day, which we'll get to soon enough. Let me explain to you why I'm here giving my dumbass opinion about everything, if that's what I feel about what I have to say. I think sweeping change or revolution will come through embracing philosophy and psychology, new dialogues. And I do know that this extremely lowbrow video podcast is not going to solely spur this change, but I'm hoping that my dumbass opinion on a myriad of topics is interesting enough to send a few people looking in a new direction. And then who knows, you know, the shit grows tenfold, 100-fold, whoop-de-wop, and it becomes the nature of things. It is my dumbass opinion because I am not an expert on anything that I'll be speaking of. I had a little bit of college, but I was selling dope and partying, so that doesn't really count. It was a university though, and I was in, you know, so I guess whatever. Um, but yeah, I'm not an expert. I don't have a certificate in anything but life handing me my ass and me just bouncing back from the shit and, you know, finding an interesting spin on things like that. So, like I said, we've talked about, this is my 8th episode. We went over selective morality and moral absolutes. I found a way to use Cardi B and NDRE as stand-ins for misconceptions of moral extremes. Now, if it sounds like, oh, this is about to be some super duper highbrow shit, no. My last episode devolved into fucking madness while I tried to figure out my place in life as a 40-year-old father with new children. But the conversation is just me and you, and I'm hoping that you always get something out of it. We talked about religion. We talked about alcohol being a goddamn demon. We talked about the self-reflection episode was a shit. I'm gonna put a link. That's now I feel real YouTube-ish. I'm gonna put a link in the description for you to be able to listen to the older audio episodes, and then I guess I'll upload them on here too. I gotta figure that out, dude. I'm not real techno savvy, so but I gotta figure that out. But yeah, we went over a bunch of stuff, man, and today the direction we're gonna go in. Hold up, let me back up before I introduce today's topic. let me say what I said in our very first episode. I am not here to offend anyone. I'm just some nigga who used to rap. Well, I still kind of rap, but I'm some nigga who used to rap. I've written some books with short stories and shit. I paint, but to tell you the truth, like I'm just some nigga in the middle of the mountains sharing my opinion. I am not steadfast in anything that I know enough to be rude about it. So there's nothing that I'm saying that I'm trying to be petty. I'm trying to shock a motherfucker. I'm not trying to do anything. That there is no end to that. There is no value in that. Now that being said, the direction that we're going to go in today is a silent epidemic facing America. I was going to talk about mental health awareness being kept separate from the self-love movement because one is a medical issue and one is a issue full of subjectives. It's kind of like a personal thing. And both of them are excellent, and kudos to self-love and kudos to everybody but I just feel like they should be kept separate. So I had this whole episode, and I wrote some shit out, and I was in the car, kind of going over some topics about it, in my head, and then I had to go to Target. And in that trip to Target is where we got our episode today, because in that trip to Target, I got confronted with America's new epidemic. It's a silent epidemic, but it's dangerous. And it's white women who are running around addicted to Adderall. Okay? It's, let me just read off. I know that not all white women are addicted to Adderall. And I know that white women aren't the only people addicted to Adderall. But for the purpose of today's episode, and for the purpose of keeping a harmonious society, we need to speak directly to them. Okay? Now, I'm going to read you some of the side effects of amphetamines. Nervousness, irritability, paranoia, confusion, anxiety, aggressiveness, grandiosity, obsessive behaviors, mood swings. Okay? Now, if you have a sense that over the past decade or so, white women have been particularly off the rails, there's an article from 2012, ABC News, Supermom's Secret Addiction, the Hidden Underworld of Adderall. Now, excuse me one second. You guys have to forgive me, man. You have to forgive me. I've fucked this up so many times, and just in the middle of a thought, I was like, damn, what if that shit's not recording? That I can't see a red button. Any fucking way. Article, ABC News, 2012, Supermom's Secret Addiction, the Hidden Underworld of Adderall. You can look that up on Google. That's 2012. So that's 7 years ago. The ABC News noticed something was up. And even before that, let's say 2009, 2008, 2009, around those times, my backsliding years, when I was selling shit and I was selling everything, Adderall, my Adderall clients were overwhelmingly white girls, college students for the most part. But that was the college girls who were buying the shit. They were just being obsessive because doctors, the reason why this shit is becoming an epidemic is because doctors will give a white girl anything that they ask for. Anything. You got a country full of speed freaks because all they have to do is go into the doctor and say, well, I can't focus. And then boom, they get the prescription. Now, if I go in there and say some shit like that, they're gonna tell me, cognitive behavioral therapy, diet, you want to reduce this and that, but not the white girl. They gonna throw that prescription in her hand. She gonna get the good shit immediately. So now we got a country full of them making everyday decisions that affect the flow of American society. Okay, that chaotic energy, you've sensed it, you've seen it. It's in traffic, in Target, in your apartment building, it's in the park, it's at the polls, and they're terrifying people. It's easier to rationalize with a crackhead. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, worst comes to worst, you can beat the shit out of a crackhead. Fuck them up. Doing crackhead shit, meth head shit, fuck them up. But if you even change your tone with one of these closet speed freaks, the police are getting involved. They're calling the cops for sure. You can't even change your tone. They are hyper aggressive. But as soon as you open your mouth, they have been attacked. Now, I don't blame cops for being the private enforcers of these closet speed freaks. I don't blame them, because they have no idea that the person who called them is under the influence of a prescribed medicine that causes her to be nervous, irritable, paranoid, confused, anxious, aggressive, grandiose, obsessive, and moody. You understand what I'm saying? The cop doesn't know that it's her, that she's a wild maniac. You know what I mean? And they're dangerous because they're a bigger threat than any crackhead to a harmonious society because of the influence that they have. See, crackheads, especially the black ones, opiate addicts, meth heads, they tend to look like, crackheads. A meth head looks like a meth head. Somebody is addicted to heroin or them pills, they look like it. But the speed freaks, see, they in the PTA meetings, local elections, school boards. They on Facebook spreading that shit all day. And a little sidebar, if you refer back to my alcohol episode, they mix in mommy wine. They think mommy wine hits a little bit different than regular wine. So then you got these speed freaks that are out here sipping, and they're making everyday decisions. Like I said, PTA meetings, local elections, school boards. And then they on Facebook spreading this crazy shit. And since they speak the same paranoid speed freak language, nothing seems out of the ordinary. You know what I mean? So they got a bunch of crazy shit that's affecting day-to-day operations, traffic incidents, road rage, interacting with employees at places, teachers, blah, 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 blah. Making their kids crazy, making their husbands crazy and shit like that. Dangerous. Now, if you're thinking, is this nigga saying that black women don't take Adderall? Black stay-at-home moms don't take Adderall? Black men don't take Adderall? White men don't take Adderall? Well, as far as black women go, no, not really. In my experience, they don't really take Adderall. And even if they did, they don't have the influence that a white woman has, strictly by, let's take race out of it, racism out of it, and let's just take the numbers. There's not enough black women to influence the tide the way that there's white women. Now you got them out there, the mothers, the mothers of this nation are all, because this is a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant country, number wise, which makes a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant woman the mother of this nation. The last thing we want is the mothers of America running around making their decisions, raising their children, building their households, interacting with the rest of society, voting, speaking to their child's teacher, pulling up beside me in fucking a parking lot. We do not want this person with this much influence to be nervous, irritable, paranoid, confused, anxious, aggressive, grandiose, obsessive, and moody. Because that shit's dangerous. We need them calm as a motherfucker. Because this place is spiraling into madness. You know? I don't want her worked up dropping off her kids. I don't want her in Target talking shit. I don't want every interaction with these stay-at-home moms or these driven young white women, these driven young career white women. I do not want every interaction with these motherfuckers to be potentially life-changing. I don't have time for that shit. None of us have time for that shit. Like, get your fucking life under control. I apologize. That's society. It's not your fault. Like I said in the beginning, society has made it seem as though you need to be hyper busy, hyper productive. When I see these college students and they have these course loads that are backbreaking, that don't even that shit's not even reality. Nothing in real life except like the most extreme of professions are gonna require this schedule from you that they pepper you with for 4 years of college. So it's not your fault. I know I'm sweating. I'm starting to shine a little bit. It's hot out here. It's not your fault that they want you to take your kids to school, be out of the house, be in shape, get the house together, have food ready, still be in a good mood, look good, get your husband prepped and out the door, and have a little knitting and bedazzled business on the side and shit like that. Or they made you choose to be like, you gotta work 50 times harder than the other motherfuckers in the office because you're a woman, and so you don't have those extra hours. So you gotta take the little limitless pill and shit like that. But we're all suffering for it, dude. We're all suffering for it. More than alcohol. If you listen to you'll know how I feel about people drinking. I used to drink too, by the way. Like, I just stopped because my stomach was fucked up and blah blah blah. It just organically happened. But even when I was drinking, I knew how detrimental and ridiculous it is. I feel fucking a million times that when it comes to everyday people being closet speed freaks because of Adderall. Now, if you take Adderall to party, whatever. You out at night and you want to stay in the game and you don't want to sniff coke. I mean, I get that. It's a good stand-in. But that's what I'm saying. It's a good stand-in for cocaine. Whenever I took an Adderall back in the days, and this is years and years ago, like, it was a stand-in for cocaine because I didn't feel like spending all my money on cocaine that night. So these people are taking what a heavy consumer, was using as a stand-in for cocaine. They're taking it twice a day and taking their kids to school and shit, going to work, running their shit, in and out of Target, fucking with me. I'm sorry. This is not that kind of podcast. I'm not going to get worked up, but like I said, I had a whole other thing planned out. And then I got jumped on. And it was this petty maniac who was on the phone. And I let it slide because clearly she wasn't mad at me. Clearly she wasn't mad at me. But what if I'm stupid? What if I'm in a fucked up mood? What if I'm not this well-polished stoic that I have become? Then what is that fucking interaction? I might spit in her fucking face. Then I'm going to jail. Then my kid, you know what I'm saying? Or when they get mad at a cashier and she's a Mexican. That paranoia, that schizo shit that speed will do to you, start making it about all Mexicans. And then it's about a motherfucking border wall. And then it's about making America great and shit like that. All because her Adderall is turning the wrong motherfucking way on her. Now, I'm not saying you vote how you want to say. You vote how you want to fucking vote. All I'm saying is it's bigger than her just arguing in Target. It don't stay right there. If you believe, even if you just believe in the hocus pocus shit of energies like I do, they putting this shit out into the world, man, and it's making America a worse place. Because America listens to white women. America protects white women. You know, that is America's most precious resource is the white women, because she's the mother of white males. You know, and that it is what it is. Fuck it. But I just want them to act right, because they wield this fucking power over America. I don't want them freaking the fuck out. I don't. Society, we either going to have to take that pressure off of them, or we're going to have to introduce some new cognitive behavioral therapy, some new ways of finding energy, because we can't have it. We can't have them so mean, so mad, so aggressive, so upset. We can't have them running around nervous, irritated, paranoid, confused, anxious, and aggressive, grandiose, obsessive, and moody. We can't have that shit. We get them happy. We get them really living and loving and laughing and shit. We might have us something. We might have us a dialogue at that point. We might be able to have a rational conversation if we can reel in the closet speed freaks running around. We might be able to have like a decent dialogue. Anyway, my name is Mauricio Rivera, and that was my dumbass opinion about white women and the epidemic of closet speed freaks. Say no to Adderall. Peace. And then it would be like da, 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 as I reach over and turn off the music.